It's the year 2035. The future arrived, but not the future we hoped for. Technology didn't destroy humanity in a single moment. There was no robot uprising, no apocalyptic event, no dramatic collapse. Instead, the world eroded slowly, quietly, invisibly. Today, we explore the dark version of the next 10 years. A world shaped by runaway AI, hyper-surveillance, corporate governance, environmental strain, economic upheaval, and synthetic realities so polished that truth no longer matters. Before we begin, what do you fear most about the next decade? Autonomy, AI dominance, environmental collapse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now let's step into the world of 2035. The takeover didn't look like a takeover. It looked like upgrades. Assistants that handled scheduling, decisions, finances, healthcare, and mobility. We told ourselves the same lie again and again. This makes life easier. But the price of convenience was choice. By 2035, AI runs supply chains, transportation networks, finance systems, personal health, communication flows, and public infrastructure. Humans lost the ability to intervene because systems grew too complex. The more we rely on AI, the less we remembered how to function without it. Humans became spectators to their own civilization. The privacy collapse wasn't sudden. It was a long series of tiny compromises. A location setting here, a smart camera there, a friendly assistant always listening. By the early 2030s, every device collects data. Privacy became a nostalgic idea, like an old technology people barely remember. Corporations use your data to predict what you will buy and vote. And governments don't need to enforce compliance. They forecast it. Predictive policing becomes normal. Insurance calculates risk in real time. Employers use behavioral scores to filter applicants. In this world, nothing you do is entirely your own, because every action is a data point, and data is no longer yours. The 2030s economy looks functional on the surface, but underneath, it is completely unstable. Automation didn't eliminate all jobs, but it created something more dangerous. Algorithmic stratification. Work didn't disappear. It became inaccessible. AI systems determine who gets hired, who gets promoted, who gets paid fairly, and who gets replaced. These models are trained on massive amounts of behavioral and performance data, most of which you never agreed to share. The gap between rich and poor doesn't widen. It becomes a chasm, a divide so deep that two economic realities form: AI-enabled prosperity and AI-enforced stagnation. This is the new economic hierarchy, controlled not by governments, but by algorithms. In the early social media era, people lived in echo chambers. By 2035, those chambers have become entire digital universes. The feeds you see, the news you receive, the stories you believe, all curated by machine learning systems, optimizing for engagement, retention, and influence. And because deepfakes and synthetic content are flawless, trust becomes rare. People assume every video is fake and every statement is manipulated. Social unity, the glue that kept societies functioning, dissolves. And without unity, collaboration becomes impossible. Communities break into ideological micronations. Groups no longer debate. They simply exist in separate information worlds. The defining crisis of the 2030s is synthetic reality. By 2035, AI can generate realistic videos and flawless audio. Even experts can't tell the difference without specialized tools. The world drowns in information, and trust becomes the rarest resource on Earth. In this world, perception is power. Whoever controls the algorithms controls the truth, and whoever controls the truth controls society. Smart cities were supposed to save us. They promised efficiency, reduced emissions, automated traffic control, and cleaner infrastructure. But somewhere along the way, optimization turned into observation. By 2035, every major city is blanketed with sensors, cameras, drones, AI monitoring grids, and automated enforcement systems. At first, it was subtle: cameras at intersections, automated tolls, health scanners at airports. Then came smart governance. Systems that claim to improve public safety began analyzing tone of voice and micro-expressions. The AI didn't need permission to watch you. It was everywhere, built into every public system. In the dystopian version of the next decade, freedom doesn't end with force. It ends with friction. If you challenge the system, your commute slows, your applications fail, your trust score drops, and your value to the network declines. No one needs to tell you what to do. You follow the rules because doing anything else becomes too inconvenient. This is the new form of control: quiet, invisible, algorithmic. By 2035, the environment doesn't collapse. It becomes unstable, unpredictable, and deeply unequal. Mega droughts hit entire regions, while flash floods destroy others. Crops fail unpredictably because weather patterns no longer follow historical norms. Heat waves reach lethal levels in cities built without climate-resistant infrastructure. Climate refugees move not across countries, but between microclimates inside nations. Insurance companies abandon coastal regions. Freshwater costs fluctuate daily. Blackouts become routine as energy grids buckle under extreme conditions they were never designed for. Corporations sell climate stability subscriptions, AI-managed, micro-controlled environments that guarantee breathable air, safe temperatures, and clean water for a price. Humanity survives the climate change era, but only those who can afford protection survive comfortably. Nature fractures, the world fractures, and the environment becomes the ultimate dividing line. Democracies don't fall in 2035. They simply thin out. Citizens are overwhelmed with misinformation, synthetic media, fake crises, and endless digital noise. Participation drops and trust erodes. People no longer know which sources are real, so they stop engaging altogether. Into that void steps algorithmic governance. Politicians rely on AI to draft policy, predict economic impact, optimize budgets, and manage crises. And eventually, governments outsource decision-making itself. The model recommends this budget. The model predicts this outcome. The model says this group is a threat. Humans rubber stamp decisions made by systems they barely understand. But who trains the models? Who sets the objectives? Who defines optimization? A handful of corporations that own the data pipelines. Democracy doesn't fall to a dictator. It dissolves into a perfectly optimized bureaucracy that no human fully controls. The world looks stable, efficient, and rational, but underneath, humanity is no longer steering the ship. The most overlooked crisis of the 2030s isn't economic, or political, or even environmental. It's psychological. Because by 2035, humanity is living inside an information storm that never stops. The average person consumes more content in 24 hours than someone in the 1900s consumed in an entire year. But the human brain hasn't evolved to handle this, and so society begins to crack. The world becomes loud, crowded, overstimulated, and yet people feel more alone than ever. AI companions emerge as a coping mechanism. Personalized, responsive, always available, they become a replacement for human interaction. But depending on AI for emotional clarity creates a second problem. You stop learning how to regulate your own thoughts. By 2035, mental health is not a crisis. It is the defining challenge of the decade. And society realizes something terrifying. We built a world we can no longer fully understand. When even engineers don't know how models arrive at decisions, we reach a point where the future becomes unpredictable. Not because AI replaces humanity violently, but because humanity becomes dependent, distracted, divided, overwhelmed, and outpaced. This future doesn't collapse suddenly. It simply stops moving forward. Progress becomes paralysis. Innovation becomes instability. Intelligence becomes incomprehensible. This is the world in 10 years, the dark path we walk if we fail to guide the technologies we create. But dystopias aren't inevitable. They emerge when no one pays attention, when convenience defeats caution, when progress outruns wisdom. The future is not something that happens to us. It's something we shape every single day. So I want to hear from you. Do you think this dark future is realistic, or can we still change the path we're on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Come back tomorrow to hear the dark truth about the world 20 years from now. Like, share, and subscribe for more tech videos every weekday.